Okay. So I think, yeah, we can start off now fully. Okay. Uh, I would trace back a little bit before I um, go into the main details of today's classes. First, from the last classes, we had already established that HTML, or rather a website, is a folder or combination of folders, okay, that contains files that you want to share across the internet, basically. So the first thing that we usually will want to do as a standard practice is you want to create the folder where you want to drop the file. If you see the immediate exercise we just did, what we did was we just created it and saved on the desktop. All right. But of course, when you're creating a website, you first have to create a folder and probably name the folder the website name. Okay, so if I want to do caleb.com website, so I could create a folder anywhere on my system. Let me call it on my documents. All right, and I name it Caleb. All right, I'm going to do that now. So on your own end, if you are on your system, you can try that out as well to create a new folder and name it the name of the website. Let me see if I can quickly create one folder, new folder, or let me call it class 2. Let me call it folder class 2. Okay. All right. So I've created a new folder on my documents. So whatever I'm doing here now will be saved into that folder. All right. So back to the task for the day. For every website that you create, the first page, when you visit a website, let's say again, caleb.com, the page that opens, you don't necessarily need to put the name of the page. Okay. And if you observe, if you click about us on that website, that is when you will now see something like caleb.com/about us. Okay. But if you want to land on the website caleb.com, you don't need to put any slash. It just recognizes, it picks a particular page as the default landing page. All right. So the name of that page is always called index. All right. The index.html is always considered as the default landing page of any website. Okay. So once it clicks, it goes to the index straight, and you don't need to put slash index. It just goes there. All right. That's why the tags you did last week, you saved it as index.html. So if I copy that into a folder and I open it after it's hosted, that index.html is what's going to be showing as a default landing page. All right, when we get to how to host websites and all of that, you will see how that works. But for now, we'll continue working with um, our pages the way they are. All right, so HTML, like we pointed last class, is hypertext markup language. It's the standard language used to create the structure of web pages. Okay, it uses tags to define elements like headings, paragraph, images, and links. All right, tags are the main game players when it comes to HTML. We'll explain what tag is. They're just simple. The tag is just an angle. We call it in our own language, we call it a less than and greater than in layman term. All right, it's just a particular name of an element in between the less than and greater than sign. And if you can see my screen, this is an example of tags. All right. There are some popular tags that we are going to look at together because not everything is a valid HTML tag. There are standards, all right, which we are going to look at in the course of this class, and we would also explore even after this class. Okay. So looking at the tags, there is an open tag, HTML tags. There's open and close tag, right? The open tag is, well, let me do some practical with Visual Studio. All right, so the first thing I want to do is to create a new file. So either I create it from here, or can you see my Visual Studio?
Yes, sir, we can.
All right, great. So I can go from the menu to uh, create new file. all right? Or you can take it from the shortcut here. So anyone, we create it, and let me still name it index.html. Okay, I want it to be the first page. Then it will pop out where I want to save this particular file I created. Now I'm going to go to my document. You know, I mentioned I created a folder when we started because I want everything to be organized. Class 2 is the name of my folder. I select it and I say, okay, save as index.html. Okay, so we have created our file. It will soon open into a blank empty page. Beautiful. All right. So there are major holders, tag holders in the HTML structure. All right. I call them, they are the foundational tags upon which every other tag is built. Okay. The first is you want to let the browser or whichever server knows that this is an HTML file. Okay. So once you open an HTML, you close an HTML. So like I said, the opening tag is just the less than sign. This is a standard syntax. Okay, syntax just means command. Let's think about it like command in layman language. But of course, because HTML is not executable, it's not really like a programming language. But for the layman purpose, I can call it a command. All right. So, but it's actually just a syntax that the browser recognizes. All right. So the opening tag will be the less than sign, HTML in between, and then a greater than sign. This is the open tag. If you see under here, there is also a close tag. All right. The less than sign. The difference between the opening and the closing tag is this slash that we have. So there is this forward slash, then you put in the same HTML. So for every command or for every tag, all right, the open and close has to be the same. So if I'm even writing any other tag, let's say P is for paragraph. All right, because my Visual Studio, I installed something, an extension for autocomplete. That's why if I do an open, it automatically closes it. You can as well install that. Maybe later on, I'll show you how you install those um, autocomplete stuff. But for it's better you do it yourself so that you get to understand it first before you start using extensions that help you complete what you want to do. Okay, so anytime there is an open, there has to be an equal close. All right, the close is just the same as the open, but the slash in between. Okay, so for every website, the first thing the browser recognizes is HTML. There's the primary holder of everything. Okay, now after the HTML, there's the aspect they call the head. I'll also open it and close it. I will explain what happens inside each of these tags later on. All right, the head, there is the body. All right, so the head and the body, just like with human beings, we have our head and our body. Okay, so in our head as humans, that's where our brain resides. Okay, your real identity eventually is sitting up there. Okay, so we can call it like what the browser recognizes as your name, your title. Okay, is in your brain. So the same thing here too on the website. There is a title tag in the head section. All right. But first, understand that the three major tags are the HTML, which is the holder of everything of a website, then the head, open and close, the body, open and close. All right. Now, inside the head, you have title. The head holds what they call metadata. I'm sure any of us that are into any form of IT or the likes, you understand what metadata is. Metadata just means additional information about your website, different from what people see primarily in the main body. I will cite an example here for us. Let me open a website, gila.io. Okay, this my company website, and I'm going to explain what head comes in and where body comes in. All right. So what you can see now on the web page itself is the body. Okay, so anything I want to display here for people that are visiting my site to see is the body. All right, but any other thing that I want, for example, this place, if you can see my mouse where it is, the title of what I want to be displayed here. I can open another website that has title here so that we'll see the difference. Let me use Paystack, for example, Paystack website. All right. If you see the browser at the top where my mouse is, you can see Paystack, modern online and offline payments for Africa. Okay. See, it gives some other description. All right. So that is not in the body, it's in the head. Okay, so what happens in the head is just additional information like there's a page title, this is what we call page title on the browser. You could want to do SEO, okay, search engine optimization, so that when they search for your website on Google, let me also say page tag, the kind of information you want them to see, okay, can also be in the head as a metadata. All right. So primarily for the purpose of this class, we'll just be using the title for the head. As you advance in development, you'll start seeing other tags that you can use in the head. Okay. So don't forget, we said the head holds the metadata. All right. When we also start doing functionalities like using JavaScripts, there are some JavaScripts that you put in the head. There are some that you put in the body. Okay. But for now, let's hold that the head handles just metadata. And for practice, is holding title. So for title, we are going to use class 2. We'll see how this will display on our website eventually. So let me retract back just a bit before we continue that the website comprises of a major primary holder, HTML, and two other tags, head and body. Head has open and close, body has open and close, just how the HTML has. In the head, we have the title, which displays as the page title on the browser. So that's a summary of all we've done here now. I will go ahead and just launch and see what the title displays on our browser. Okay. Um, yep. All right. So if you can see let me dock this a bit. Okay. Well, if you can see my mouse, you can see it's showing class 2 at the top. So anything we want to put there as a description, we can actually put it there, right there in the head. So I'll go back to our document, our outline. So yeah, again, it's saying the HTML basics, which has to go with the tags, like we discussed. There is H1 all the way to H6. Okay. H just means heading. Okay, is the HTML syntax for heading. So the browser automatically, without you writing any styling, okay, without you increasing whether there's a font size or anything, the browser by default has been programmed in such a way that it sees any of these 6 heading, H1, H2, automatically it gives them the size that is apportioned to it on the browser automatically. Okay, so there is a heading of H1 all the way to H6. Let's try that out in our code base in the body. Don't forget, I said anything that we see on the website is on the body, all right? But the head is only holding metadata. So let's go ahead to do H1, which is heading 1. Okay, open and close. Uh, let's say nice class today. I'm going to do this across heading 1 to heading 6. Let's see, 4, 5, 6. All right. So I update this to H2, which is heading 2, close and the close tag to H3 and H3. So if the open is H1 and close is like H3, it's going to be an error. Okay, it will render on the browser, but it will open up your code base for an error. It will show the H1 size, but any other thing you do afterwards might be malformed. So if you're opening with a particular tag, you have to close with that same tag. So I'll continue to H6 to H6. right? These are the major heading tags that we have on HTML. So I'm saving this now. I'll refresh our browser. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So you see what H1, the browser interprets it to be automatically. H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. All right. Of course, we can't use H for the description of anything on the website. We use it mainly for headings. Okay. Let me go to a website and explain also. You see, this website has a heading, then we have a body. Okay, the body is just like I call it body, the one that has ordinary fonts that people can read, but the headings are these other ones. So yeah, so the headings is what you use H for. Okay. So going back to our outline, it gave us an example to do. So copy and paste hello world. Okay, we have already implemented our own way. Maybe when I share the task for today, we'll then do other things. Okay, this is what I explained earlier, the HTML document structure. All right, to say, oh, it starts from an HTML. So we are telling the browser that this is an HTML file. Okay, it has a head which contains the page title. All right, but for professional purposes, you should call it the head holds the metadata, okay, of the page, which contains both title and other things that you see later on as you advance as a programmer. All right, then in the body, we have done what H is, which is heading. Now there is a P. Okay, P means paragraph. All right, P is for paragraph. We'll go ahead and try it out here and see. So there's something interesting about paragraph. Paragraphs gives a good space between the top and the bottom of any write-up. You know how literature is basically. If they start a new paragraph, there is usually a space between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. So that's what this actually is. So if I write something in two paragraphs, let's say this is our first paragraph, and I write another paragraph, open and close P. This is our second paragraph. If I close this and go to our browser, all right. So you see that the font is the normal font of a website body that you can read. Okay. So that's what a paragraph is, breaking things into just how you know paragraph in English language, right? Creating a new block of code. All right. That's what the paragraph basically would do. Then there is another card, though not in our handout currently, but I think it does something similar to a paragraph, but a different way. Okay, I'll go to our code base to say, yeah, we'll call it break, line break, BR. Okay, I'll show you what the difference is between paragraph and line break. Let me say, just like the name is anyway, let me write something. This is our first line. First line. Okay, line break doesn't have open and close. All right, so it just has only one. Sometimes they write it only open, sometimes, sorry, they write it only close. All right, for each one that has only one tag, usually the forward slash is at the back. You will see other tags later on. This is our second line. I will come back to explain this. I just want you to see what the difference looks like between paragraph and line break. Right. If you see this, the first line is closer to the second line compared to this guy. All right, so paragraph creates that space between, while line break just takes you to the immediate next line. All right, so that's the difference between paragraph and line break. There are things that you might be developing that you just want to go to a new line and you want that new line to be close to the text you wrote before. You don't want it to be big. There is something interesting about website development. Things as small as the font, which is font is the text, all right, the style of the text, the font type, okay, the font size, the spacing between the text can really determine the beauty of a website. Something as tiny as that. I can open like two websites, you see the difference between them. And when you analyze it, you discover, oh, probably just the fonts and a little spacing here and there. Okay, so that's why we have to be familiar with some of these syntaxes. We'll still go further to look at other tags, all right? And we'll also research even as individuals too, the popular HTML tags that can be used. In the body, we have mentioned H tag, we have mentioned P tag, we have mentioned the BR line break tag. We'll go to our handout to see what next. Okay, there is an A tag. This one is interesting, very interesting. Okay, the A tag is for hyperlinking. A tag is for hyperlinking. Uh, A tag also have open and close, but it has some extra attributes. Please, if you have any question, you want me to go back on anything, you can quickly, you can point it, but we'll just keep moving. So there's A tag, open and close. The A tag is used for linking either to other pages or to link between the same website. So if you have two different pages on your website, okay, from our definition, website is a folder holding multiple file, HTML files, okay? If I want to move from file A to file B and from file B back to file A, is the A tag that we use, okay, for hyperlink, all right? So I will write this now, link to page about us. We'll create another page so that we can practicalize what this A tag does. All right. But now, interestingly, for A tag, it doesn't itself just do the hyperlinking to another page. You have to give it an instruction. Okay. We call those instructions attributes. Okay. So each tag or some tags have attributes. Okay. For now, I'm going to just show us the attributes for the A. By the time we start doing styling, we'll see how attribute style can be used for P, how we can style all of this text to look different from what we have seen. Okay, both positioning, the font size, the different stuff. Okay, so but for now, we're going to, for the hyperlink tag A, we'll give it an attribute href. Okay, href is the hyperlink reference. We are trying to show it to see where I want you to go to. All right, we're trying to tell it, see where I want you to go to. Hello, can you hear me still? I think I had a network fluctuation.
Yes, you are back on.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yep. So, what did you hear last? Or you got the last bit I said?
Yeah, the styling of the tags.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now, let me clear this. So for the styling of the tags, yeah, I mentioned we'll see that later on in our subsequent, or rather, classes that will be coming ahead, right? But for now, we'll be looking at just attributes for tag A. Okay, because tag A itself cannot link to a new page. You have to give it a direction to say, oh, this is the page I want you to go to. All right. So since A is primarily for linking, the attribute or the command that we are going to give it to say, oh, take us to this page is href. Okay. More like hyperlink reference. You can keep that in your head, href. And then we can tell it to link to any page or any website. Okay. The tag, you can make it when you click on this link, it should open on another tab, open the new page on another tab so that your website page is still open. Or if you're doing a website that is linking from home to about us, it's supposed to open on the same tab. It should not open to a new tab. Okay. I will demonstrate the two of them here now. Okay. Let me quickly do another page. Let's say page two. Uh, New file. Let's call it about us.html. Still here, .html. Okay, I'll copy what I have on the index page. Yes, then I'll clear some things out. Uh, Let me just leave only one heading to say about us. Okay. The title, let me give it a different title, about classroom. All right. So from the index, I'm going to tell it to link me. Remember, they are in the same folder. That's the beauty of website. Since they're in the same folder, I don't need to be typing, maybe looking for the path where I want it to find. I will just type just the name of the file, about us.html. That's why if your website is properly structured, it gives you neat codes. All right. If your website was sitting somewhere, maybe on the desktop, then you start doing things like C. If this second file was sitting somewhere on the desktop, and this one is sitting on my document, if you want to link, you'll be doing things like C dot document users. It's quite messy. Okay, but for the proper arrangement of your website, all should be in one folder, or what, so worst case they are in. If it's a big website, there are some that might be in subfolders. Okay, so I go ahead to link the a tag to the about us. Now I will go to the about us page and link back to the index page. Okay, let me save this too and save this. Good. Now I want to create another one where I said we link outside our website. It's not going to be linked inside. And I want it to link to Paystack website. So let me say https://paystack. You just put the website, paystack.com. All right. But I don't want it to open the Paystack website and cover my website on that same time. I want it to open on a separate tab because it's not part of my website. So you give it a target. Now there are two attributes that I've given. Now one is href, which is the link to where you should go. Then there is target. Target is what we now tell it, okay, blank is open a new tab. All right. There are other ones, other commands there on target. In fact, I think one of the assignments that we'll do at the end of this class will be those other commands. Try them out and see how they open. Okay, but blank will open a new tab. So let's look at what we have done so far on our browser, right? I'll refresh this. You see, this is our new, oh, sorry, let me change the text, the link to Paystack. So let me change the text there. Let me call it link to Paystack. Paystack. All right. Let's put it in a paragraph so they will have good spaces apart. All right. So I'm putting the tag A inside the tag P. All right. Since P is a paragraph. So let me do that here too. Okay, I want the space between them. Open and close. All right, so save. Let me refresh. Okay, so you see our links now. If I click this link to About Us page, it's going to take me. You see, now we're on the About Us page. All right. Let me update the About Us page and change that text to link me back to index. Link me back to index. All right, I've saved it. Let me refresh. Okay, so link me back to index. I can click on it and take me back to the index page. Now you see when I click on the pay stack, you see what it's going to do. It's going to open on another tab. See, our website is still open here. So it's not covered. It takes us to another tab or pay stack or whichever website we want to link. All right. So that's the beauty of the A tag. Okay, you're going to use it a lot eventually when you're developing a website because you're going to link from page to page eventually. Okay, so back here, all right, it has talked about the A tag, then the image tag. The image tag is another beautiful one that we have. I will show us what the image tag looks like. All right, for the image tag, I'm going to add an image here. First of all, let's copy an image to our folder. Remember, we said we want to arrange everything beautifully. Okay, can you see this, my window showing my documents? Hello?
Yeah, yes, we can see.
You can see it, okay. So I'm going to create a folder inside this. this document, this folder. All right, let me create a new folder. Inside this folder, I want to call the folder images because I want everything to be properly organized. Okay, so inside the images now, I'm going to now copy the image I want to add to my website. Let me look at my downloads if I have any existing image that I could use. Fine. Okay, I think we have one here. So I come back to a website. Here's class two. All right, here it is. Okay, so in our images folder, I paste the image that I want to display. So I'm coming back to our index page. Let me add an image. All right, don't put it at the top, so it's going to be fine. All right, so I go the image tag. Image tag doesn't have open and close, just how we have for the break, line break. All right, for anyone that doesn't have open and close, we mentioned that it has / after it. All right. So it's saying that I'm self-sufficient. I don't need any guy to close me. I can open and close myself. So the major ones are image and break. All right. So for image, what the attributes that it needs, because image cannot display an image until you tell it which image it needs to display. Okay. The attribute it needs is source, SRC for short. Okay, so later on, we'll get to see other attributes and stylings that we can use for the image. All right, but the primary one to get an image is just source. When we get to styling, we'll look at other things. So for source, remember where we pasted these images, images/intro banner. Beautiful. So I just get to save and I go to our browser. Let's see what we have done. Here we go. So you see the image before other text.
Sorry,
So
we didn't see where you saved your image of the on the folder before uploading it on VS Code. Sorry.
yeah, so on VS Code is just actually showing you what is already on your folder. All right. So you can either do that via what I did here. Okay, I copy the image and put it on my folder directly, or from VS Code. Let me open this folder on VS Code. Uh, let's say class two. So at the left side, save. Yeah, on the left hand side. Okay, can you still see it in my the one that opened the folder?
Yes, yes, we can see this now.
All right. So you see this folder here, right here on VS Code. I might decide, let me delete this and do it again from VS Code. All right. Let me not do it from where I did it before. Okay. So I can delete this images folder. Let's create a new folder. You see the plus sign here that says new folder. I can click on it and then give my folder a name. Let's say images. All right. So right now inside the image, I want to import maybe an image that I have somewhere I can drag and drop. Okay, so let me do the same thing we did before on my downloads. I will drag this image into this image folder. All right, so it's there now. So whichever way that works for you, you can do it. Either you come this folder here, copy the image, just locate the folder where your website is and paste it. Okay, it's the same thing. Whether you want to automatically, it comes to Visual Studio Code, VS Code. You wouldn't need to repeat it in VS Code to automatically show up there. Okay, so once you have moved it, then you reference it as your image source. Then you can go, like I explained before, I can access other images on my local computer if I just put a path to the images. But by the time I upload the website, because my computer path is not there on the internet can't access my local computer, the images will be breaking. That's why it's better organizing everything into a folder because all the folder is what you are moving to where you are hosting the website. Okay. So that's how the image shows up. By the time we start doing styling, you can see a lot that you'll be able to style with this image. You can make it this small if you want to. Okay, you can make it stretch to the edge, however you want to make it look. All right. But for now, I'll just add one or two other attributes that you can add to the image. Even if sometimes this will either compress the image or stretch it out. All right. The height of the image. Okay, I can do height equal to 20 pixels. Okay, the
Sorry,
website
the
yes.
screen of your VS Code. Sorry.
Oh, you can see. Okay. Let me share it again. Oh, I think this guy is even telling me 1 minute. I would share another link that we can join in so that I think this part is very important for you guys. I wonder why this is not stretching for 1